how's it going? Thank you again so much for being here for another great lesson from Big Wave Guitar. I'm your humble instructor, Dan the Guitar Man. Today we're going to be taking a look at the classic rock mega hit in The House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. It's got one of the all-time great chord progressions, and it's the perfect song to work on your alternate picking if that's something you're just kind of learning about or getting into. But before we jump into the lesson, if you could please be so kind as to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way you get to stay up to date on all of the lessons, the tutorials, the videos, and general guitar knowledge that we share here. It would be really greatly appreciated. Like I said, thank you again so much for being here, and let's get to the lesson. First chord we're going to need today is A minor, which we're going to play by putting our first finger on the first fret of the B string, our second finger on the second fret of the D, and our third finger on the second fret of the G, and we're going to mute that low E with our thumb and play the bottom 5. Next chord we're going to need today is our old buddy C major, which we're going to play by putting our first finger on the first fret of the B string, our second finger on the second fret of the D string, and our third finger is going to stretch up and get the third fret of the A string while muting that low E with our thumb or ring finger, playing the bottom 5. Next chord we're going to need is D major, which we're going to play by putting our middle finger on the second fret of the high E string. Our third finger is going to get the third fret of the B string, and our first finger is going to get the second fret of the G, and we're going to use our thumb to mute that low E string and play the bottom 5. Next chord we're going to need today is F major, which we're going to play by barring our first finger over the first fret of the high E and B strings respectively, right? So a nice flat finger there getting those two strings. Then we're going to use our second finger to get the second fret of the G string, and our third finger is going to stretch up and get the third fret of the D, and we're going to try and mute that low E with our thumb again, but then just play the bottom 4 strings. Last chord we're going to need today is E major, which we're going to play by putting our first finger on the first fret of the G string. Our second finger is going to get the second fret of the A, and then our third finger is going to jump up and get the second fret of the D. And we're going to let all strings ring freely and openly. So this song only has one chord progression. It's the same throughout the whole song. The A minor, C, D, F, E major, and A minor bounce back and forth. The real trick though is in the right hand with the alternate picking. The trick is to essentially just focus on 4 strings at a time per each chord. So for that A minor chord, we're going to focus on the open A string, the D string, the G string, and the B string. For the C major, it's the same 4 strings. Then we're going to drop down to the bottom 4 strings, or top 4 strings, depending on how you want to say it, for the D major chord, so the open D, G, B, and E, high E. Same 4 strings for the F major. And then we're back to the middle 4 strings for the A minor. And then the lower 4 strings for the E major. Low E, A, D, and G. Okay, so let's take a look at that chord progression now. We'll play it at the normal speed, and then we'll slow it down as always, and then we'll follow it up with a little close-up of the right hand so you can get a better shot of that, okay? Here we go. Super slow. so here's a close-up of my right hand. Again, focusing on 4 strings at a time. For the A minor and C, we're focusing on the middle 4 strings, right, with the alternate picking, down on the A, up on the D, down on the G, up on the B. For the D major and F major chords, we're focusing on down on D, up on G, down on B, up on high E. And then again, for the only other chord we'll use is the E major, which is going to be down on low E, up on A, down on D, up on G. Right? So alternate picking, down and up, every other string. It's a great exercise to learn, and this song's a perfect way to practice it. Okay, so here we go. Now, if the alternate picking is really difficult for you, you can always just take a straight ahead strumming approach, which I kind of demonstrated in the intro. Again, you can just do some straight up downstrokes, just. Wherever you're at, whatever you need to do to play the song and have some fun with it, I say do it. So there you go. You've got everything you need now to play a beginner's version of House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. Like I said, all-time great chord progression there. Super fun song. Very fun to play and sing along. I really hope you enjoy it. As always, thanks again so much for being here. If you could please be so kind as to like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would also be greatly appreciated. Thank you again, and we'll see you again next time. Be good.